Working on that book once Discovery touches down Saturday. Fox News Channel will be there for the landing with live coverage beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We hope you join us.
All right, Louis, you know, John Glenn has made American history twice, and both times he has captured the attention of the world.
Our next guest was so fascinated by John Glenn and the space program that he started collecting memorabilia when he was just 12 years old. Ira Gallen joins us this morning to share his collection of really cool space stuff with us.
Good morning, pleasure. I got to show you, this is my personal space capsule from 1962. This cost me 5 cents. It's now $150. It's a pencil sharpener.
Oh, that is so cool. Now, Ira Gallen is one of these guys who, just like a lot of us, I had a couple of these toys.
Isn't this great?
He was so smart. He saved all this stuff, and he is now a multimillionaire.
No, I wasn't. I didn't save anything. I broke it all apart. When I got back into the film business after I graduated school, had my first job, I started buying everything back again.
Isn't that great?
But this was about $11.95 back in 1967. It's about $150 now. An exact replica of the Mercury space capsule. Yeah. Slide it open. Ooh. Hasbro notified NASA. They gave them all the blueprints. Even the panel inside, the control panel, is the exact replica.
Wow,
well, that's for G.I. Joe.
Yep. And then G.I. Joe this is the exact spacesuit of the Mercury astronauts.
Dress him up.
And this was a couple bucks back then. There's another $100-some-odd item. And then FAO Schwarz re-released this last year. You can give them a call, FAO.com, and get it. Now, this is the best. This is from Japan.
Outdoing us even with our own.
Yep, they had better technology, and this was maybe $8.95 back then, anywhere from $150 to $250.
Amazing.
Wow.
But this is the coolest. Whoops.
Oh, and there goes the
and it's breakable
stuff.
Hallmark cards came out with Keepsake Ornaments. This came out 2 years ago. This is the first one with Alan Shepard. If you press it, you can hear the sound effect of the countdown. And if you get a nice close-up here, all of a sudden, the rocket takes off, the Redstone Mercury space capsule. And
lovely.
This, nice sound effects too, but this one for John Glenn is really cool. Lights up inside, and when you hit it, it says, turning around 0G, and I feel fine.
Oh, cool.
Beautiful detail right on there. I wish it was black like the capsule, but you can't get everything. Okay. And then they came out, the third one this year is the LEM, which I wish they did the Atlas rocket, the Agena, and Gemini, but everybody overlooks that. Real quick, of course, Hot Wheels came out with John Glenn Mercury space capsule. Comes with a little senator, little astronaut. And
there they are right there. There he is. Way in the back.
Was this a big seller? Were all these things big sellers when they first came out?
Back then, everything sold out immediately. This just came out 2 weeks ago for John Glenn.
Now, this is probably the only thing somebody can go out and buy right now. If you held on to this for 20 years.
This, which was $14 a year ago, is probably about $100, $200 now. All the Hallmark cards go up. This was the best. When I was a kid, I wanted the Omega Speedmaster watch. This was worn by all the astronauts. When I graduated college, got into the Directors Guild 4 years later, I bought my own version. This was expensive back then, $395. Now it's $2,300. They re-released it because it was officially made for the moon and has its moon backing stamp on it. But what's real cool was, now this is the one John Glenn's wearing now. This is the updated X-33's Omega Speedmaster mission watch. It goes in days, minutes, hours, and seconds. You can program every experiment John Glenn has. The alarm will go off.
Cool.
Bigger buttons for the gloves from the space suit. Plus, you can program this to go to Mars and back. Unbelievable, and that's $2,500. Okay, when I was a kid, also
really
pre-video. This is the American in Orbit 8mm film. I used to turn my father's lounge chair upside down, put on my 8mm projector, because most of the astronauts were always on their back, waiting to take off.
In a form-fitting chair they had.
I mean, it's really scratched. I even watched it the other day. It's pretty fun.
This is so neat. Back in 1966, you wrote.
When I was 16, I was in high school. I had a fraternity there, and I wrote to him to write, you know, if he'd write an article, which never got published. Now it's on my website, televisiontoys.com. And I got Sony, Hewlett-Packard, and Adobe to give me all the hardware and software to make my website.
Cool.
Also, Just for Men also.
All right.
And I'm a member. And this was a 2-page letter about using the body, mind, and the spirit. If you want to be an astronaut or anything in life, you have to work hard, keep yourself healthy.
But the cool thing is he wrote back to you. And
typed it.
As we take a look, back in the 60s, he was busy, but Ira, he took time out to peck out a 2-page note to you.
Well, Ira tracked him down. He had his address there.
Yeah, I got his address, too.
He'd respond to Ira. He'd come after him.
If you saw From Earth to the Moon on HBO, I wrote to 40% of the people that were portrayed in there.
And how many of them wrote back?
Almost everybody.
Oh, that's great.
And then here's my first day cover from John Glenn, Project Mercury.
Okay.
And Maroon, this is my pocketbook edition of Maroon before they made it into a crummy movie.
Now with
Martin Caidin was a great writer.
With the front coming off like that, is it still valuable?
If I become valuable, yes. And then Mike Mars in Orbit, another one of the books that came out back then. And then, of course, I have my John Glenn official button.
Now, do you ever see this stuff pop up at garage sales?
Every once in a while, like if right now maybe you're going to pay over $100 for this, but about 20 years ago when I rebought it again, it was about $20. And of course, The Right Stuff, Warner Brothers DVD, you can get to see John Glenn's whole adventure. And then there's a whole following now with G.I. Joe. F.A.O. Schwartz came out with a limited edition book on G.I. Joe, tied in with the whole history of the space program in here. So it's been pretty good.
What are those two things?
Do you
I gotta
have
show you.
more John Glenn stuff probably than John Glenn?
I doubt it. I think he's going to. I'd like to donate to his museum. Plus, COSI, a space camp, is going to take a lot of this stuff on tour. But this was the coolest kit back then, Revell model kit. I used to go out, I had about 5 or 6 of these because you couldn't go buy a Mercury space capsule. So I went and bought the model kit, just built the capsule, so I'd run around the house playing with it. Because models were meant to be on the shelf, not playing with it. And now I wish I had it because this is probably $500, $600 now.
Wow.
And then you had the this was about the only book you had on the space program, because there were no books on the program at all. So I would just read this all the time. You had the picture of the capsule, the control panel. Remember the Journal American? They had a 2-page spread on the control panel. I cut it out, put it on a cardboard, went and bought toggle switches, toggle switched my whole house.
He's not just a collector, he's a
Wow.
space stalker. And this is on your website. This is an autographed Life magazine cover from John Glenn.
Oh, I tried to be an astronaut. I took flying lessons, and they said, you have to learn how to march first. And I said, discipline? I was out of there. And plus, I was lousy in math.
Now,
Ira, thank you so much for
your
joining
website
us.
once again?
TelevisionToys.com.
Very nice.
Television, one word, Television Toys.
We'll do come on back real soon.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much. Neat stuff.
It is now 3.5 minutes before the hour. Still to come on Fox and Friends.
Actor Paul Sorvino on Goodfellas, Good Daughters, and involvement in a good cause. Stay with us.